And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Baltimore Ravens episode. And yes, we have a special guest this week. We have finally gotten Biggie to show up for an episode. He's been mentioned on probably 20 different episodes, but he's finally here to talk Ravens nonsense.
Wow, that was a cheap shot, but I appreciate it. I'm Biggie.
Yes. So, like I said, we'll be discussing the Baltimore Ravens, Mount Rushmore. A lot less history with this franchise since they haven't been around as long as the Steelers and the Browns in the last couple episodes, but still plenty of talent. So, I will start us off real easy, Mike. Biggie, who's your number 4?
This is going to be a controversial pick. And to be honest with you, I changed it on the drive here from who I originally had. I originally had Jamal Lewis because I had to find an offensive player. To me, Jamal Lewis was the height of Ravens ball of a running back. He did everything. He scored. He ran for a lot of yards. But my number 4 pick, and I'm looking more to the future, is QB number 8, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
That's why I chose Lamar. He is the future of the franchise. Whether he signs the deal or not, he's the man. He will take us to the next level of Super Bowls and continue the Ravens tradition of Ravens ball. Simple as that. Opinions.
Fair enough. Did anybody else have Lamar?
No, not yet.
No, I did not either.
I mean, he is an MVP, so I mean, I don't think it's obviously a bad pick. He just hasn't played a long time yet. That was my thought process.
I went the same way. He does have his MVP. He's improved since he came in the league. He's done some nice things. Although Jamal Lewis also did some nice things. When you mentioned him, he had a 2,000-yard season with Baltimore.
Yeah.
He had some big record for a while, didn't he?
Most yards in a game.
Yeah,
295.
I can't remember what it
I believe
was.
he had most carries for a while there before he got broken.
Yeah. I did this like top 10 seasons by quarterback ever. And Lamar Jackson's MVP year was number 10 on the list I read. I can't remember the website at the top of my head. But just his combination, because he led the league, I think, in passing touchdowns and 1,200 yards rushing, and it was pretty insane, his MVP year.
And another reason why I chose him, his run the pass ability. Once he figures out the game, he'll probably be the standard of what quarterbacks are going to be for the next 10 to 15 years. His ability to elude defenders, and yes, he's not the greatest passer, but when it's crunch time, he gets the job done. As we saw last year, they led the league in wins and the number 1 seed in the AFC before he got hurt. Everyone seems to forget that. But again, the future of the Ravens Mount Rushmore.
So are you gonna cry, Biggie, if he leaves because he doesn't sign his contract?
I have my own personal opinions on that, so I'm not going to be I'm going to be upset if he leaves. I think he's betting on himself with his contract. I think he's not going to get the money he's looking for. He's trying to be the highest paid quarterback. I think he should be realistic, and he's not going to get Patrick Mahomes money. He's not going to get Josh Allen money, but if he gets very close, I think he should take the deal. Personally, I think he's worth it. I understand the injuries and things like that. He's not going to get the short-term years he's looking for, but I would take the best deal, and I think he really needs to hire an advisor. I know he's not having an agent, but an advisor would be very good for him.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. All right. So now that we have Lamar underway, Wade, who was your number 4?
Number 4 was Terrell Suggs.
He is also my number 4. Anybody else have Terrell Suggs?
I do.
Where's he on your list, Ray?
Second.
Oh, holy cow!
There you go.
So that means he's dethroned either Ray Lewis or Ed Reed, probably.
Probably.
Well, I mean, he has to be ahead of one of them, I guess, at least.
Yeah. Suggs was on number 5. I thought long and hard about him.
I went back and forth on my 4 for. Well, I don't want to throw out too many names in case we talk about certain players going forward, but there was a couple other players I thought about, but I kept coming back to Terrell Suggs. I wanted him on my list. He was a badass for a long time.
I'll hold off on saying who my number 5 is, but I went back and forth between Terrell Suggs and my number 5 pretty hardcore before I made the decision to go with Suggs. So, Biggie, does Suggs not make your list?
He was my number 5 or 6 if you had to count my original countdown. But he was going to make the top 4. He is all-time leader in sacks. He also does it the Raven way. but he's in the middle of the Baltimore era. He replaced Ray as the leader, and he did some great things for the team, but I'm going looking for the future, so he couldn't make the top 4. I am very disappointed as a defensive guy and defensive end coach, so it hurts, but I love T-Sizzle.
All right, fair enough. So that's 2 number 4s and a number 2 for Terrell Suggs. So it's just Doug and Drew don't have their 4s yet?
Yep.
All right, Uncle Doug?
My number 4 is Jamal Lewis.
Oh, Jamal Lewis. Yeah. We got touched on already. All right. Yeah. Drew, do you have Jamal Lewis?
No.
No. Well, does anybody else have Jamal Lewis?
No, I do not.
I do not either.
Yeah, he was my only offensive guy. I was looking for an offensive guy, and so I went back and forth between he and Suggs. And because of Lewis he's got 10,000 yards. He's like 25th on the all-time rushing list. 7,000 yard seasons, 3,600 yard games, 1,000 yards each of his first 4 seasons. Of course, he has the 2,000 yard season, the 3rd longest, highest total ever. One of the sites I was reading about actually compares him to Terrell Davis, who's in the Hall of Fame. And they were trying to make a case for Jamal to be there. And they said the only difference was Terrell Davis had a much better quarterback and got 2 Super Bowls to Jamal Lewis's 1.
Not a big Terrell Davis guy giving the Hall first.
Yeah, but he's in the Hall, and he didn't have a very long career at all.
No, you're right. I kind of view Terrell Davis kind of like I view Kurt Warner, like brief brilliance, but otherwise over the totality of the career, it's kind of disappointing. And those guys both got in.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So anyway, that was why I went with Jamal.
All right, Drew, I'm very curious.
Yes, I'm curious too, and I think I might know. It'll be my number 5 guy.
My number 4 is Justin Tucker.
Yep, that's my number 5 guy. That was who I debated with Suggs.
I mean, Tucker,
he's got a ring.
He's 5 times.
Just listen. Sorry. Go ahead.
His field goal percentage is 91, which is the highest all time. And then his extra point is 99, and he also has the record for the longest field goal ever. So I thought at least talk about Justin Tucker.
Is he the Ravens' all-time scorer yet?
Ooh, I would say so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to it.
Was that him the kicker before? Was it Stover?
Yeah, he's had Stover played there quite a while. But yeah, I think Tucker's played like 10 seasons now, so he should be getting close, I would think. Yep, I debated hardcore with Tucker and Suggs because, right now Tucker has the case to be, the greatest kicker of all time. He's, yeah.
He's a kicker.
That's why he was not on my list. Yeah, but as a Bears fan, they'll lose you many of games.
That's what I was going to say. Drew's a Bears fan, so he appreciates good kickers.
Double darn.
I miss Robbie.
Every time Robbie Gold kicks one for the 49ers, Drew just thinks
he's never missed one in the playoffs. It just hits me hits me in the heart every time.
Every time the Niners played this year in the playoffs, they brought that up like 3 or 4 times during the game.
Yep. Doesn't matter if he's in the snow at Lambeau. Right in the middle.
Didn't want to give him a raise.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I can't wait till the Packers episode.
Drew will say,
nobody.
No, they deserve it.
All right, so we've got everybody's number 4.
Negative, not mine.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ray.
Terrell was his number 2.
Oh, yeah, he was your number 2. I apologize, Ray. Who is your number 4?
Jonathan Ogden.
Well, Jonathan Ogden is my number 3.
He is my number 3.
He's my number 3.
he's my number 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. So everybody has Ogden?
No, my number 3.
All right, so everybody in the room has Jonathan Ogden. All right, Ray, go ahead, man.
Well, as much as I would have loved to put Flacco on this list, I figured I would go with some kind of, productive offensive player. Big E's giving you props back here, and then you just
That's
stabbed
Super
him in
Bowl
the heart.
champion Joe Flacco.
Yeah, with a beast of a defense. But I mean, these last couple of weeks, y'all been giving me fucking grief for these tackles that I've been shitting on. So I figured I'd come this week and throw Jonathan Ogden on there, since he was at least a good player over Flacco.
Super Bowl champion Joe Flacco.
Well, Jonathan Ogden is
Super Bowl
also
champion.
Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a member of the All 2000s team, and just a behemoth of a man. Listed on Pro Football Reference as 6'9", 345.
And could move his feet. The reason why I put him at my number 3, he was the first pick of the Baltimore Ravens. When they moved, came back in 96, I believe. He was the first overall pick of the Ravens. He set a standard of work ethic, and again, he was a beast of offensive left tackle. He didn't give up very much, and he could give it out pretty good. And just me as a youngster watching him, he was putting people down, pancaking them left and right. So, another great pick by the Ravens.
Yeah. Was that Ozzie Newsome?
That was
That was that. There you go. I didn't know if he was there yet or not.
He was there. UCLA, first round pick. I watched that draft. I remember it very vividly.
So, but it says on Pro Football Reference that his rookie year he played guard instead of tackle, and then he moved to tackle and played the rest of his career at tackle. Was he a guard in college, or did they just do that his rookie year, or what?
No, they had another veteran tackle at the time. That was because I remember that story when they had another veteran tackle. They played him at guard. They played him at guard a little bit just because they had a veteran tackle. I guess he excelled, and they moved him to tackle from there on out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he was their first round pick. They were expansion team at that time, so they were just seeing where he would fit in. And he is a big man, like a massive guy.
Yeah. And you think, looking at him, you know how big he was, looking at 345 pounds, you'd think he would play inside. You'd think he would be this big rumbling guard, just dominating the run game. But, you know, this is a guy that I think all of us, even Drew, maybe not Drew. He retired after 2007, so the rest of us would have watched him play. And like you said, he was one of the best tackles in football for a long time.
Yeah, like when you think of like tackles past 20, 25 years, he's one of the names that pops up, at least for me.
Jonathan Ogden, Joe Thomas,
Peters from
Peters.
you guys.
There was a guy in Seattle.
Walter Jones.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
like those are like he's one of that group of a generation of the best tackles in the NFL.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Jonathan Ogden.
There you go.
Yep.
Yes.
So I don't think we're going to talk about him. So like the guy I was debating with Terrell Suggs was is it Marshall Yonda? I always say his first name wrong.
Yeah.
Like I remember him being a monster, and that's who I was debating with. Excuse me, for my fourth spot. Did anybody else think about Yonda, or was that just me?
He made my list of guys to look up, but I didn't. He didn't make the cut.
Because I remember listening to people talk about him like he was like in contention of the best guard in football for a couple years. If he wasn't the best guard in football, like he was just an absolute beast. And then I looked up some of his accolades and stuff, and he was
Well, again, we go back to these offensive linemen. Even when you're comparing them head to head, there's nothing to compare other than, did they make the Pro Bowl? Did they make an All-Pro? There's no stats. There's nothing to look at. Like you're kind of just taking guys' words for it, or going back and watching film for yourself. And we ain't got time for all that.
Yeah, they just now came up with all the blocking percentages for a lot of it.
Yeah.
He pancake guys a lot. From Iowa to the NFL, Yonda was the real deal. Just watching him, he made my top 10. So he's a real deal.
Don't you guys currently have a really good center or something? A really good interior offensive lineman that's makes Pro Bowl every year.
I mean, Yonda would have he wasn't there not that long ago.
That was Yonda. He just retired.
Yeah, I'm saying he.
So we got a young center now. So I think Yonda retired. So he plays center and guard.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, fair enough. So nobody had Yonda on their list, right?
No.
Okay, cool.
He was just.
Fun fact: Yonda played with our head coach in high school for Jack Cornell at the Quincy Notre Dame Raiders. So shout out.
There you
I had
go.
to do a shameless plug there. So.
Big E is a defensive coach for Quincy Notre Dame. I know, we can all boo later. But so that is everybody's number 4 now, officially.
Okay.
Does everybody have a number 3 left? No.
Yes.
No. My number 3 is gone.
My number 3 is gone.
So is Big
Mine's gone.
Mine's not.
So Doug and Ray have 3. So Uncle Doug, who you guys your 3?
Ed Reed.
Oh, Ed Reed.
Number 3?
My number 3 is also Ed Reed.
Number 3?
Yeah.
Well, Ed Reed is my number 2.
He is also my number 2.
He's my number
He's my number 2.
I
Look at you, Biggie. Look at
I
you.
had Ogden at 2 and Reed at 3.
Ed Reed is
Just
my
flip.
favorite Raven. I just had to throw that out there.
He is great.
I loved Ed Reed, and I don't know why, but I just did.
So let's just go ahead and ask that question to you two. Why Ogden ahead of Reed for Uncle Doug?
They both got 9 All-Pros. Ogden's got 11 Pro Bowls to Reed's 9, though Reed does have a Player of the Year. Of course, an offensive lineman's not going to get Player of the Year. So it was kind of a toss-up, and I just went with Ogden.
So why'd you go with Suggs ahead of Reed there, Ray?
I mean, the stats are pretty well even, but I mean, it's like splitting hairs and like throwing up a coin flip almost, because you could easily say Suggs might be a better defensive player than Ed Reed, but I mean, you got a case for either one to be in either spot, and I was having a tough with the top 3 that I got, trying to throw them somewhere. So I
That's
just
Hall of Famer Ed Reed.
That's right. That's right. Hall of Famer Ed Reed.
So, like, his defensive impact was great. Like, he's considered probably the best safety in all of football ever.
That's no denying. You got that right.
So, T. Sizzle was great, but he's not in Ed Reed's category. Just throwing it out there.
Here's my thing. Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu kind of forced their way into the Hall of Fame. And before that, we didn't allow safeties into the Hall of Fame. Like, safeties didn't make there was like 3 safeties in the Hall of Fame. And now, since those 2 got in, there's been a run on the safety position, and a bunch of them have gotten in. But before that, they just wouldn't vote safeties into the Hall of Fame for whatever reason.
Well, I think years ago, a lot of times you'd see as corners got older, they'd move to safety. So some of them may have gone into the Hall as corners and then became safeties later. That may have been part of it. You know.
Well, another thing with Ed Reed, though, it was a lot. When we picked the ball off, he was taking it back to the house more than I think. Does he have that record? I think he has some return record from like interceptions there, if it's yards or touchdowns or something like that. I can't remember which one on the top of my head.
100+ yards, I believe.
It might be, yeah, it's something crazy. And then they would put him on special teams, and he would do a bunch of crazy shit on special teams too.
Yes, I saw this highlight of him playing the Colts one time on punt.
Like knocks that guy out.
Yeah.
Like he was nuts.
He has 7 interceptions returned for touchdown in his career.
He might have like the interception return yards record. I think that
Yards,
might be it.
maybe, but I don't know who has the record for touchdowns. But we talked about Rod Woodson a few episodes ago, and he has a lot more TDs returned, so it's not TDs. But Ed Reed is 7th all time in interceptions.
He only played like 11, 12 years, not like 19 like the guy who's in first.
He played 12 years, yeah.
Yeah, so
12 solid years.
yeah, like it's just I just like Ed Reed.
Oh, Ed Reed's
And I hate the comparison with him and Troy Polamalu. Troy Polamalu could not do half the things Ed Reed did as far as coverage and understanding the defense back end. Troy was more of a linebacker.
No, come on now, Big. I do think Ed Reed is a better coverage safety than Troy Polamalu, but Troy Polamalu could do everything.
I personally can make a case. That Steelers defense that he played in was very versatile. That they covered up for a lot of his coverage deficiencies. Me personally, I think he could not cover certain guys. He was that traditional in the box safety where Ed could play either one. Ed's going to go out there and give you. He can cover the back end. He can cover a wide receiver, cover a slot receiver. He's going to take care of the back end. I think Troy was more downhill safety who took care of the run.
So let me ask you this, Biggie. If you were going to make a Steelers Mount Rushmore, would you include Polamalu?
No.
I'm not surprised.
I like Troy Polamalu, but if I was going to make a Steelers, we're going to start with Rod Woodson as my number one. Javon Kirkland was a personal favorite of mine. He'd be my number 2.
Wow.
My dad's personal favorite, and one of the reasons why I wore number 75 myself was Mean Joe Green.
Of course.
In there. And to be honest, I hate the guy, but James Harrison would have to be in that top 4 of that Mount Rushmore just because I love the videos on Instagram. He's just the Devo of football. How he walked it. And fun fact, he was also cut by the Ravens twice.
That was a mistake.
No, it wasn't a mistake. We just had a better linebacking core. And I mean, when he came out, there was like studs. Like I had some guys in my top 10, like Peter Borware, Renard Wilson. Like those dudes to me were like football gods. Like when I was growing up watching them at Florida State, when they got to the Ravens, they made defense fun. So put it like that for me.
Fair enough. We don't need to rehash the Steelers stuff. I just was interested. So let me ask you this: how much of your dislike of Polamalu is based in fact, and how much of it is based in he plays for the Steelers?
I would say 50%. The reason why, like, the Ed Reed comparisons were always there, but if you just looked at football, like for me, Troy never covered anybody. He was always in that box. And you could take him, like teams took advantage of him like that. They lost a couple playoff games because you could take advantage of him, victimize him. Number 2, Ed's one of my top all-time favorite football players. That's the difference between the Steelers. Their pass rush made Troy good to me. That's just my own personal opinion. But again, I'm biased. I am their rivals fan. So.
Fair enough.
Ed Reed does have the yards record for interception return yards. He has pretty much 1,600 yards returned from interceptions.
So,
which is
1,600 yards and 64 picks. So it's like, that's insane.
That's pretty good.
Like, so yeah. And like number 2 is Rod Woodson, who's 100 behind him and I think played, 7 more seasons? 6 more seasons?
I think he played 18 years, I think.
So yeah, that's pretty badass.
It is. All right, so is that everybody's 2 and 3 now? Did we just knock out everybody?
I think so. We all know who number 1 is.
So does everybody have Ray Lewis at number 1?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was pretty easy.
Is this the least controversial one so far?
I think so.
I think it's the only time we've all agreed on number 1.
Yeah.
Ray.
Yeah, too.
Ray left Mean Joe Green off his Steeler list.
No, he was on there.
No, was it? You left? No, you left him completely off and then argued with us for 10 minutes because he didn't have a touchdown.
So, what's wrong with that?
Or an interception.
Or an interception.
Mean Joe Green. The standard of defensive ends. The Coke commercial.
Yeah, the Coke commercial.
No.
Dude, you got to understand, if you've been listening to the podcast, what I do here.
That's hate. I'm a hater. Come on.
Ray just likes to stir things up.
I do. And it's more fun that
Him
way.
and Charles Oakley.
You're damn right.
Well, just to go over a few things Ray Lewis-wise, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champ. He has a Super Bowl MVP. He's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's on the All-2000s team. He ran a 4.5 at the combine and was a 3-down linebacker. Could help in coverage. Could obviously collect on the run. He forced 19 fumbles in his career and recovered 20. Playing sideline to sideline, getting balls for his team, and had 31 interceptions for his career, which is weird. I mean, is pretty impressive for a linebacker. Troy Polamalu only has 34 for his career, so.
Said there.
So let me ask, guys, make sure I didn't forget anybody. I'm trying to list the guys that we all had. I had Lamar Jackson, Tucker, Reed, Lewis, Ogden. Oh, I have Lewis twice. So did I forget? Oh, I don't have Suggs written down. So did I forget anybody else?
I think it's
Jackson, Tucker, Reed, Lewis, Ogden, Suggs. Nobody.
Well, sounds right.
Did you say Tucker?
Yeah, I got Tucker.
Okay.
Yep. So nobody put Todd Heap or
Nope.
hey Ray Rice.
No.
There's obvious reasons why.
So, how many Hall of Famers do the Ravens have?
That's a great question.
Is it? I know Ray Lewis. I know Ed Reed. Jonathan Ogden.
I think that's it, isn't it?
That's now Shannon Sharp, but most of his career was not with.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
with Denver.
He only played
Right.
like what 2 years
They
there.
won the Super Bowl with him. I
Yeah,
He
think.
did win the
just
Super
two
Bowl,
with
yeah.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Who else?
I'm thinking.
I mean, Rod Woodson played 4 seasons there.
right. There's a
but
couple other guys that
Yeah.
in the Hall of Fame, but they weren't really.
we don't really remember them as
majority of their
Ravens.
career wasn't
Yeah.
with the Ravens. I mean, true Ravens. I'd think those 3 would be the 3 Hall of Famers.
So by the way, we only have 6 guys, which is significantly less than we had for the Browns or the Steelers.
We had 9 for both of them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to cut 2 guys. And I think it's very obvious who we cut, just personally. I mean,
Well,
you get,
we all have Ray Lewis.
we all have Ray Lewis at 1.
We all have Ed Reed, and we all have Jonathan Ogden.
Yes.
Okay.
So we
The top 3 are right there.
So we put Terrell Suggs on, and we get rid of Lamar and Tucker, and we move on.
So
that matches my list.
we're looking for number 4, right?
Yep.
So we're looking at Suggs, Jamal Lewis, and
Justin Tucker.
Tucker. Yeah.
Will we be considered a joke if we put a kicker on our list?
Ray brought one up last week.
That played guard and tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this
It is true.
Might be the greatest
true.
kicker of all time.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, we're looking at a pass rusher because he played outside linebacker and defensive end, a kicker, and a quarterback.
Oh, running back, Jamal Lewis.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
That's probably why you had Lewis on there twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's 2 Lewises. There you go. Sorry. So we have 7 guys.
Yeah.
So we got 4 guys for 1 spot. Jackson, Tucker, Lewis, Suggs. None of them are in the Hall. One of them has an MVP. One of them has a Defensive Player of the Year. Tucker holds the status of most
Jamal
accurate
Lewis
kicker
didn't
of all
win
time.
MVP his 2,000-yard season? Really?
He got Player of the Year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He's got a Player of the Year.
That might have been a
MVP.
Peyton year, to be honest.
That would have been real early. Maybe.
I haven't pulled up. Hold
Could have
on.
been one of Peyton's first couple.
It was in.
He has so many, it's hard
It
to
was
keep track of.
2,000 yards.
Get
was
out of here,
in
Wade.
2003.
2003, yeah. I wonder who
I
won
mean,
MVP.
come on, Drew. When a man has 5 MVPs, you can't keep track of them all.
You know who's better?
Yeah, Peyton Manning won it that year.
All right, it's fine then.
Peyton Manning.
Wade's okay with it now.
He threw 4,200 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. And he completed. Where's his completion percentage?
Who was he throwing to?
Marvin?
Marvin and
Reggie wasn't there yet.
who was the other receiver? That other guy was pretty good too.
Brandon Stokely?
He was decent.
Scott Pollard, tight end.
Also a Raven.
Wade and Biggie's all-time favorite player came in 3rd that year.
Ooh, which one?
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Low blow on that one.
Yeah.
Good old Tom. We should have Biggie on for the Patriots episode.
Good.
Anti-Tom all day, every day.
You know what's also going on that year? Spygate. So get out of here with that 3rd place finish.
So the top 6 finishes for MVP that year: Peyton Manning, Steve McNair, Tom Brady, Jamal Lewis, Priest Holmes, and Ray Lewis came in 6th as a linebacker.
Still, he had a 2,000-yard season and he was 4th.
Yeah.
That's still hard to believe.
That is.
And 2 of those guys played for the Ravens, Priest Holmes and Steve.
Well, Priest Holmes broke the rushing touchdown record that season.
Really?
Yeah.
For Seattle, right?
No, that was the Chiefs.
Because then, who was that? Marshall Falk's record he broke? Because it passed on like a lot.
Falks got broke by Holmes, and then Holmes got broke by Alexander, and then Alexander's got broke by Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It went boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
like
it
every
happened
other
a
year,
bunch
we had
really
it broken
quickly.
in there for a while.
That's a running back for value.
Yeah. All right, so we have 2 offensive players, a defensive player, and a special teams player. We also have an offensive player and 2 defensive players. So we have, the last couple episodes we've dominated one side of the ball and discussed whether we should put somebody on the other side of the ball, but we have people on both sides of the ball this time.
Mm-hmm. Obviously I had Suggs as my fourth, so I'm rooting for Suggs, but I'm trying to think here.
Well, can I say this? I debated back and forth between Tucker and Suggs for my 4th and 5th spot. So I obviously agree with Suggs, like Wade said. But I also kind of agree with what Biggie said. He is a kicker.
They're important.
They lost. They lost Dad a Super Bowl. They lost me a playoff game.
No.
Look, this last playoffs, how many came down to the last second field goals? Let's think about this last playoffs. I think about every game came down to a field goal.
Look, personal tragedy should not play a part in the.
But this last playoffs, the AFC Championship, the Bengals walk it off. The game before they walk it off in Tennessee. Robbie Gould walks it off. There's 3 right there just from this last playoffs.
You heard from the Bears. Bad, aren't you?
Oh, that's good.
I can't support a kicker. I'm sorry. I love him, but he can't support a kicker.
You just got done playing high school football. In high school football, 90% of the teams don't even use kickers.
No.
I always say never leave it up to the kicker.
No. You go for 2 in high school.
I will say, kicker's got a bad gig, though. I'll give him that. Like, you're expected to make it. So if you make it, nobody really celebrates you that much. But if you miss, it's the end of the world.
Oh, yeah.
Ask, what's his name? Scott, the Bills kicker. Norwood, yeah. Scott Norwood. It ruined his life. He got a divorce. He was death threats. Ruined his life.
Back when Mr. Double Doink
for
the Bears, I thought that's when Mike and Mike were still on ESPN, and they had a great answer to that. They had open tryouts. They closed a street in Chicago, set up a goalpost, and they invited all these people that were hating on this guy to come down and try to kick a field goal.
Yeah, it's at 43 yards. That's it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thing.
No one got it.
They couldn't do it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even sure I could kick a ball 43 yards. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like I can kick a 43-yard field goal. But especially with the offensive line in front of me, no. Big, you don't give me no shit. You can't do it either.
I'm anti-kicker. I just know for the Ravens, Mount Rushmore, defense was key no matter what.
Well, I think both their Super Bowls were on the back of their defenses.
I would agree with that, yeah. I will give up Jamal for Suggs because Suggs was going to be my number 5, and I agree. I think that defense should dominate for the Ravens.
So does that mean I cross off Lamar too, Big?
Personally, no, but I understand, he would go off the list if we're talking about the Mount Rushmore now, but he's going to make it on there ultimately, so I'm not worried about it.
So when we do this again in 10 years, we can put Lamar on.
Yeah. Well, Lamar go right now. He's MVP and the highest paid quarterback.
No, it's not.
Not yet.
So you're going to give up the kicker, bud?
Yeah, I guess when I think about the Ravens, I don't think Trent Dilfer. I think their defense.
Wow, what blow towards Trent, man.
You know what Trent has done, though? Trent has won a playoff game. Wait. I get all these Cowboy playoff roasts mixed up in my head. I think that he's won more playoff games recently than the Cowboys have.
Who is this?
Trent Dilfer.
I mean, the Cowboys haven't won a playoff
game since.
No, because they won to the AFC Championship game and lost to Rodgers. The Bryant fumble was in the NFC Championship game, wasn't it?
Who are you talking about?
Catch.
You talking about Romo to Des Bryant
Yeah,
in the NFC Championship game?
wasn't it? It was they lost to the
I
Packers.
thought it was the second round.
Yeah, that was the second round. I'm pretty sure that's because
I think
the Packers
only won like one playoff game. That whole run, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have beat the Packers if they would have let them catch the ball. But I don't know. I'm not
Either way,
Cowboys expert.
Dallas is, since they've won their Super Bowls in the '90s, have been super unsuccessful in the playoffs.
Yeah. How many has Dak and Zeke won? Like 1 or 0?
I think 1.
Have they won 1?
Yeah, because they played the Rams 1 year in the divisional round.
Is it bad that we can't remember if they got 0 or 1?
I can't remember.
Well, their rookie season.
Well, like
Didn't they win
13-3.
Yeah, they went like 13-3. Did they not win a game
They
that
lost
year?
Aaron Rodgers, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because he had that last minute drive.
Rodgers
Dallas
got him
beat him.
because they got a bye because they had 13 wins and like Rodgers beat him in the first round of the playoffs.
You throw one of his Hail Marys.
Maybe.
No, I think that was when he rolled out to the left and then it got to the sideline, turned, and threw that dart into the end zone, like 40 yards into the end zone to the tight end.
Jared Cook.
Yeah, I think it was
He
Cook.
hit it
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he hit him on the sideline for a field goal.
Was it a field goal?
Yeah,
Either way, it was
they
a
won the game.
deep pass down the sideline. I
Yeah.
could see him rolling out left in my head, but
No Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
no. Biggie has a bet with Patrick Berry at work that Aaron Rodgers will not make the Hall of Fame.
Don't like Aaron Rodgers, huh?
I like Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to modify that bet because
No, I don't think Berry's gonna let you, man.
it sounded insane, but I'm not an Aaron Rodgers personality guy. I've been he's been an asshole for, excuse my language.
You're fine.
He's been a jerk more than just the last 2 years. He's been the jerk since he's been in Green Bay. I'm a Brett Favre guy for Green Bay, all-time greatest quarterback. But hey, I'm in the minority now in that.
You're feeding Drew over there. Drew's over there like, yeah.
I'm just not an Aaron Rodgers fan at all.
Did you know that Aaron Rodgers purchased the Bears? He owns them.
No, he didn't.
I like that comedy. That's trash talking. It's finest. And I can't deny his talent. He's probably one of the most gifted quarterbacks ever. Just seeing him throw the ball and just what he can do. He's just a jerk. I can't stand him. But that's just me.
Ray, how far in are we? I don't like not being able to see the clock.
Yeah, it's 37.
Oh, wow. Not too very long. All right, well, we now have our 4 Baltimore Ravens, which for the second week in a row was my list. I'm just saying.
It's also my list for the second week in a row.
That's true.
Blind man can pick Ray Lewis.
We are Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Jonathan Ogden, and Terrell Suggs. 3 offensive players and 3 defensive players and an offensive lineman. So we will now end the Baltimore Ravens portion of our episode and move into trivia. Biggie, would you like to participate in trivia?
Sure.
Are you going to ask the question or just answer?
Yes. What is normally done?
I just got one.
Well, whatever you want. If you just want to answer questions, that's fine. Or if you want to ask a question of your own, that's fine as well.
I'll just answer.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Well, what we do is we all have our boards here. We go around asking questions. You write it on the board, and then we reveal our answers. So Drew doesn't cheat.
So wait a minute. I'm the only one that cheat, though, yes.
And Drew always goes first.
I do. And I'm ready like usual.
All right.
What NFL team has had the most head coaches?
Oh. So, like, since
Since the beginning.
like the very, very get-go?
Very, very get-go of the NFL.
Okay. Jesus.
That's rough because, I mean, there's been a lot of teams around a long time, and a lot of them suck.
I got one.
This team is way out in front of everybody else.
Really, that much?
Yeah.
It's probably going to be someone obvious, so I'm just not going to think. I can't.
All right, I got an answer.
Yep, I'm locked in.
All right.
Is that everybody?
Yep.
All right, I said the Browns.
Okay.
Browns.
Okay.
I said the Giants.
I said the Bears. Sorry, bud.
I also said the Browns.
But I have the Raiders number 2.
It's the Cardinals with 42.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. No other NFL team has reached 30 yet.
Wow.
Have the Cardinals been around since the beginning?
They're the St.
Cardinals
Louis
are
Cardinals.
Chicago
Yeah.
Cardinals originally.
Or Chicago.
Actually, they were. I think they started actually in Decatur. They were Decatur Staleys,
Oh.
and then moved them to Chicago and then to St. Louis. And then,
I mean, wasn't your question last week, Drew, about the Cardinals as well? Because it was
Yeah.
like which teams older than the state they reside in?
Yeah, they're older than their state.
That's crazy.
good question.
Yeah, good question, and nobody got it right, correct?
Yeah.
So, who would like to go next?
I got mine.
Okay.
Well, we talked about old Terrell Suggs or T Sizzle. Does anyone know where he went to college?
I say I bet Biggie does. As long as you can tell us, we don't count off for spelling. I don't know the answer though.
Well, probably won't help anyone but Biggie, who already knows, but I believe Todd Heap also went there.
All right, I got to guess.
All right,
I got to guess.
Yep.
Everybody got one? All right, what we got?
I have Arizona State University.
Okay.
Oh, I said Iowa.
I said Florida State.
Okay.
LSU.
I said Syracuse.
Biggie is right. It is Arizona State.
Well, guys, we're getting beat by the guest.
The future Hall of Fame, Terrell Suggs.
There you go.
And then, if that's the case, then we'll have 4 Hall of Famers on our list.
That's right.
There are only 4 Hall of Famers, right? Our Mount Rushmore will be there are only 4 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Pretty logical.
No, kickers getting in too.
That's right. Yeah.
Down the road. Down the
Tucker
road.
might get in, yeah.
Matt Stover.
I don't know about Stover.
All right, who would like to go next?
I'll go.
All right.
All right. Being a Rams fan, I had to throw in a little Rams here. Hall of Fame, Kurt Warner threw his first career interception against the Ravens. Who intercepted it?
Can you repeat that, Uncle Doug? I'm sorry.
Okay. Kurt Warner, his first NFL game with the Rams
Mm-hmm.
was against the Ravens. Beat them, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But he also threw his first interception. Which Raven intercepted it?
It's going to be something goofy.
It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be weird.
Kurt actually threw 2 that day. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
All right, I got it. Yeah.
Overrated career.
I went out on a limb here. Hang on. Who are we missing here? Alex, you going?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so it's Ray.
You looking it up?
My board's down.
Oh,
What's everybody got?
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
I said Woodson.
I said Rod Woodson, yeah.
How about Tony Saragusa?
It's actually Ray Lewis.
Oh,
Ray got it.
Oh, Ray got it. Go Ray.
Oh, there's going to be something stupid like Tony Saragusa blocked it at the line and caught it or something. Ray's on the board.
Finally.
I think Woodson had the second interception in that game, but Ray Lewis actually got the first.
Go Ray.
Yep. Can't beat picking your own name.
All right. So is that you now, Ray?
Yeah. Okay. Which city did Detroit Lions originally play in?
Ugh. I have no idea.
I didn't realize they played any place but Detroit.
Oh man, this sucks.
I gotta guess.
I got to guess.
All right, I got an answer.
All right. I got one.
I said Flint.
I said New Jersey.
It's at Portland.
I said Pontiac.
I said East Lansing.
Correct answer is Portsmouth.
Portsmouth?
Yep.
Were they still the Lions then?
Well, that does not say.
I'm not giving out a lot of points today, guys.
No.
Not at all.
I scored.
Ray got one.
Yes, Gordon. Ray
Yeah.
scored.
That means we're still winning, Uncle Doug.
That's right.
Alberta, ready?
Yep, I'm ready. In 2004, the original owner of the Ravens, Art Modell, sold the team to who?
I got it.
Would everybody have been able to say who the original owner of the Ravens was? 'Cause I thought that was too easy.
Would have known Modell.
Drew's like, no, I wouldn't have known.
The most hated man in Cleveland.
That's right. All right, is that everybody?
Yep.
All right, what we got?
You got Ray Biscotti.
I said Steve Biscotti.
Let's put Bob.
That's his first name wrong.
I didn't put anything. I
It
don't.
might be Steve.
The correct answer is Steve Biscotti. Yes.
Yeah,
Do I get points for that?
Sure,
last
Vic.
name
I'll
right.
give you a point. I'll give you a point.
You might be tied for third in one episode.
Hey, I scored. Okay, wait. You got to score
No,
now. Come on.
No, I'm in second.
You got to catch up.
All right. After this week's tallies, the standings are as followed. Solely in first place is Uncle Doug. And second place is Wade. And third place, still podium finishing, is Drew.
Podium finish what we're looking for.
I think Biggie tied Drew in
He did. He scored 2.
one episode.
Yeah. And tied for last place is myself and Ray.
There we go. I did all my point scoring in one episode.
I did all my points scoring in one episode as well. Oh man! So Uncle Doug, is this tie you for your biggest lead ever?
I think so, yeah. I was never ahead in basketball, so.
Hey, Drew had the lead for a while in basketball before I had it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right. All right. Well, we appreciate you tuning in for this Baltimore Ravens edition of Sports the NEMO Way. And we'd appreciate you tuning in next week for our Cincinnati Bengals episode. We wrap up the AFC North next week. With a franchise that ought to be interesting with the Bengals. And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.